Once upon a time, Rosie and Joseph got married just 2 months ago, and they were very happy. Rosie's mother-in-law, Lisa, is her stepmother-in-law, but she treats her like her own mother and takes good care of her. However, Lisa is jealous of her because she used to enjoy a comfortable life with her steps and Joseph's earnings. And now that her daughter-in-law has arrived, this luxury has decreased. Lisa keeps creating various plans to make life difficult for her daughter-in-law, so that she leaves the house. She assigns all the household tasks to her one after the other and doesn't let her rest at all. One day, Lisa angrily called Rosie from the room's window and said,
"Hey, Rosie, I have been waiting for breakfast for so long, and you haven't prepared it yet."
A little later, when Lisa, still pretending to be angry, goes to the kitchen, Rosie is already preparing breakfast. But even then, Lisa expresses her anger, and Rosie says to her,
"Mother, it's only 7 in the morning. Why are you so angry? I'm preparing breakfast for you."
Upon hearing this, Lisa gets angry with Rosie again and says,
"You don't work, and on top of that, you talk back."
She grabs Rosie's hand, puts it on the flame of the fire, and says,
"Now, whenever you see the burn mark on your hand, you will remember that. You have to give breakfast to your mother-in-law at 7 in the morning."
On the same day, in the evening, when Rosie's husband Joseph comes home after working in the fields, Rosie starts serving him food. Joseph notices the burn mark on her hand and, worried, asks,
"Rosie, what happened to your hand?"
Rosie makes up an excuse and hides her mark, saying,
"I accidentally burned my hand a little while cooking."
On the second day, the mother-in-law was brewing a new plan against the daughter-in-law in her room. Thinking angrily,
"The arrogant Murray never leaves the house, even when I try to make things hard for her. I don't understand why she doesn't change her mind. She's very stubborn."
After thinking for a while, the mother-in-law's eyes lit up with joy, because she had come up with a great plan. She called out to Rosie from the room's window and said,
"Hey, Rosie, where have you disappeared? I've been waiting for tea for so long."
While Rosie was making tea in the kitchen, on the other side, the mother-in-law poured oil near the door of her room. As soon as Rosie entered the room with tea, she slipped on the oil and fell down. Instead of helping Rosie, the mother-in-law, with anger, said,
"You cursed gal! You can't even walk properly. Get up now. You've broken the expensive teacup. Will your father buy us a new one?"
Rosie had injured her leg by falling. It was very painful for her. She struggled to walk to the bed and lay down. In the evening, when Joseph returned home after working in the fields, he saw Rosie lying on the bed.
When he learned that Rosie had fallen today, he felt suspicious because it seemed to him that Rosie was hiding something.
Joseph thought that something might be happening with Rosie every day, and his stepmother might be involved. Then Joseph applied medicine to Rosie's injury, and she felt some relief. Seeing the love of her husband, Rosie thought,
"To live with such a loving husband, I can endure thousands of injury."
At night, When everyone is asleep, Joseph quietly gets up and walks around the house to find a place where he can hide and see what his wife, Rosie, does during the day after he goes to his fields. Joseph notices a tree near the riverbank close to his house, where he can easily hide behind the leaves and use binoculars to observe his home, figuring out how Rosie gets hurt every day. It was winter, and Joseph's wife and mother spent the entire day sitting in the courtyard in the sunlight. Therefore, he could easily observe both of them from behind the tree leaves. The next morning, Joseph goes to the fields, gives some money to a village man to take care of his fields for 3 days, and secretly watches his mother and wife working through binoculars hidden behind the tree leaves. He sees today his mom sitting and talking with Rosie with a lot of love. Now, he felt that his mom loves Rosie more than him. After a little while, Rosie gets up and goes into the room. His mom quickly gets up, quietly goes to the corner of the courtyard near the wall, and puts her hand in an old pot there. She takes out a bottle from it, and Joseph remembers that there is a bottle of rat poison in that pot. Then his mom quickly prepares tea and goes near the room's window. Inside the room, she saw Rosie. After that, on the kitchen wall, she added medicine to the tea in a cup. Then she calls Rosie to come out and serve the tea, and Joseph realizes that his mother is trying to harm Rosie. Seeing this, Joseph understood everything. He quickly jumps from the tree, towards the house, and as he enters, he sees Roya holding teacup to drink. His mother is surprised to see him at home so early and asks,
"Son, how did you come so quickly?"
Ignoring his mother, Joseph approaches Rosie. When Rosie is about to drink the tea, Joseph stops her and says,
There is poison in this tea.
Rosie looks at him in surprise. Joseph tells her,
Your mother-in-law has mixed poison in this tea.
Rosie, astonished, looks at Joseph, and then he confronts his mother, saying,
If you didn't put poison in it, then you drink this tea.
Then, in anger, the mother took the cup from Rosie and threw it on the ground instead of drinking it. Joseph said to Rosie,
Pack your things. We won't stay a minute longer in this house.
Rosie goes into the room and explains to Joseph, saying,
How can we leave your mother alone? She may not be your real mother, but she has raised you.
Hearing this, Joseph angrily replies,
There is a limit to innocence. Now your life is in danger here, and we can't stay.
Rosie tries to make him understand again and says,
I consider her as my real mother. Even if I die at her hands, it doesn't matter.
The mother hears all these conversations from outside the room through the window. Seeing the love between Joseph and Rosie, her heart softens, and she realizes her mistake. She goes inside, apologizes to them, and says,
"Forgive me, my son. You both love me so much. I didn't realize it."
Then she hugs them, and from that day forward, they lived together with great love for each other.